Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and this is Replay, Relive, and Reexperience. As we like to call it, Re3 is where you guessed it, we do all three of those things to our favorite video game franchises. In this set of episodes, we'll be discussing the Halo franchise, starting with Halo Combat Evolved and ending with Halo 5 Guardians, in anticipation for Halo Infinite on December 8th. Here to go on Master Chief Saga with me, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, how are you?
Good, man. Good. And Delaware County's own Chris Geddes.
Hello, hello.
Guys, let's keep the introduction short. We have a lot to cover today with our first episode of Halo Reach. We'll be discussing the introduction, as always with our intro episodes, the cutscene level, Noble Actual, and Winter Contingency, our actual first level. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about Halo Reach's development. After releasing Halo 3 in 2007, Bungie split into teams to develop two different games. One would become ODST, and the other Reach. The developers decided to create a prequel to the original Halo game trilogy, freeing themselves from the obligation of addressing old story threads. As the game would take place on a human world doomed to be destroyed, they focused on making the environment a character unto itself. Longtime Halo composers Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore return to compose Reach's music, which I'm actually Reach's music is not the most memorable of the other games.
Yeah.
I don't know how about you guys think about that, but not too hot on the music.
I would agree.
I don't think there's anything. Well, there's probably
There's like
songs
one or
that,
two chords that I noticed.
out,
There's some cool tracks, but it's not like the original
one
trilogy
or like
and
Final
ODST.
Effort or anything like ODST. Has
And this, I guess, this would be their last
yeah.
outing.
Yep.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
it.
that
This
makes
is
sense.
This is Bungie's send-off.
before Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
After Halo 3, development studio Bungie created an internal team to work on Peter Jackson's planned Halo game, Halo Chronicles. Chronicles was eventually canceled, and the team began working on a standalone expansion project, Halo 3 ODST, while another team led by creative director Marcus Leto and design lead Christian Allen worked on Reach. The team considered many different concepts and approaches to the game. Among the rejected ideas was a sequel to Halo 3. The team eventually settled on a prequel to the first Halo game in a brainstorming session. It would take place on the planet Reach during a pivotal time in the war. No longer burdened to continue threads from the Halo trilogy, Bungie used Reach to introduce new characters, settings, and as Reach ends with the destruction of the titular planet, Bungie wanted to be sure players still felt a sense of accomplishment and success. Quote, "It is a challenge overall to ensure the player feels like they are doing the right thing all the way to the end," end quote, said Leto.
Leto recalled that making a character-driven story was a great challenge. Players would come to know more about them as they progressed through the campaign. But the Spartan characters also had to behave intelligently. The Halo games consistently featured protagonists that were silent during gameplay sequences. Community manager Brian Gerard pushed for allowing players to choose a female Noble Six and have the cinematics and dialogue change accordingly. The post-credit game sequence was the subject of intense discussion. Some at Bungie wanted to remove it. Executive producer Joe Tung noted, "The survive component felt great to us. We definitely talked about different versions of how that was happening and different versions of ending with the game cinematically. But I think the way that it ultimately ended up is just a really well-placed, significant, and emotionally impactful ending."
I do like the ending of Reach.
Yeah, very much.
I don't really remember it,
Okay.
to be honest.
I mean,
I
guess it ends how you
mean,
probably
it's funny.
think it
I mean,
does.
obviously, obviously,
I
you
wonder
know
what
what
happens to Reach.
yes,
The
I know
outcome
what
of it.
happens to Reach. It's more of the specifics that
Right.
I don't really remember. I didn't
And-
realize this game came out in 2010.
Yeah,
I
sophomore
don't
in
know
high
why
school.
I thought, like-
Crazy.
Yeah, I remember when this came out really,
It's insane.
really well.
Remember the beta?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Headhunter.
Loosely. The game mode.
Yeah, I think the game mode was Headhunter.
That was it.
Oh, there was probably something else, but I remember specifically Headhunter.
One thing that they talked about, I still feel like Noble Six is almost a silent protagonist. He says just little enough
I
for you
completely
not.
forgot he spoke. When
Yeah.
he spoke, I was like,
Oh.
he
Yeah.
talks. I totally forgot.
But it's so insignificant that I'm just like it. I don't think they really succeeded on really trying to make a character.
does the
who
voice
talks.
change if you do a female Spartan?
I didn't know that.
Does it?
I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just curious
Yeah,
because I know you can
assume
choose
so.
female, the female.
I don't think I've ever heard female Noble Six's voice ever. But yeah, I don't think they really succeeded creating a protagonist that obviously Noble Six talks, but I don't think they really add anything to it at all. They just
Totally
yeah.
agree.
I aim to please.
Yeah, just commenting towards things rather than like progressing the plot. The developers originally intended to port existing Halo 3 assets to Reach and update them. For Halo 3, Bungie had forced to shrink parts of the game to fit the game's engine constraints, but wanted to make Reach look better than its predecessors. Texture resolution and polygon counts for models increased. The Reach assault rifle is constructed of more polygons than an entire Marine character from 3. I think that is actually really noticeable.
Yeah.
I mentioned in the docs, but like the redesign of the weapons is like really, I think, something that you probably didn't need. Something you didn't think you needed, but like when you got it, you were like, oh, these weapons look very nice now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot more attention to detail.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Because like really, those Halo 3 weapons like aren't
Pretty
too
base.
detailed.
No,
yeah,
yeah.
they're pretty base. I mean, like they stay like that through all 3. So
Yep.
the prequel concept also gave the art team an opportunity to redesign key enemies, weapons, and elements of the series. Artists found an inspiration for an original concept art for Combat Evolved. The shape for the redesigned Covenant grunts came from sketch from a concept artist, Shi Kai Wang, created 10 years earlier.
Wow.
The developers redesigned the game engine, the software that handles rendering and much of the gameplay. Bungie hired an expert in motion capture to develop a more realistic character animation. Building motion capture studios in-house saved Bungie time, as motion capture data could be applied to the game models the same day it was shot. The developers sought to increase replay value by focusing on improving elements of the artificial intelligence. Rather than scripting enemy encounters, they focused on a more open-world or sandbox approach to battles.
Reach was ultimately announced at E3 2009 in LA, California, and the first in-engine trailer was shown at the VGAs, Spike Video Game Awards. Microsoft gave Reach its biggest game marketing budget yet and created award-winning live-action commercials, action figures, and interactive media to promote the game.
According to Gerard, the team decided to have much more grandiose marketing for Reach than of ODST. Microsoft gave Reach its largest marketing budget at the time, surpassing the scale and the $6.5 million cost of Halo 3's award-winning marketing. Marketers focused on their efforts connecting with consumers via universal themes rather than outdoing Halo 3's push.
The advertising campaign commenced on April 2010 with a live-action short, quote, Birth of a Spartan, a series of online videos highlighting a day in the life of an average Reach citizen before the Covenant invasion began on August 23rd. Followed by TV spots on August 29th, the series concluded in late August with another short called Deliver Hope.
Have you guys watched Deliver Hope?
I have not.
Is that the one where they assault the Spire?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the one
With
where
the original Noble Six, correct?
Right. No, Thom, who's the original Thom or Tom, one or the other.
Yeah.
I'll just call him Tom.
I feel like it's
Tom.
probably Tom. Like I feel like they always add an
Tom.
H in a futuristic name to make it like more
Cooler.
Like cool, yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's new.
It's more
Tom.
annoying. Like,
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah, so Tom is the original Noble Six. Kat loses her arm in this conflict, and it's basically through the perspective of Kat until she gets shot and blown up, and then Noble Six takes the bomb, jetpacks up into the frigate or whatever, and then launches the bomb, and then
he dies in
blows
that
up.
explosion.
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't do they bring that up in the game, or they just say like the previous?
I know they
one-
just say you have a lot of shoes to
Yeah.
refill, at least the
Right,
beginning.
right.
Like you have big shoes to
that's,
fill.
That's
yeah.
pretty much it.
Gotcha. Reach made $200 million in its first day sales, a record for the franchise. Its strong sales suggested to analysts that core titles in the holiday season could reverse sluggish video game sales in 2010. In its first 16 days, the game sold $350 million worth of merchandise.
Wow.
Reach premiered at the top of the Xbox 360 and multi-platform charts in most territories. Figures from the MPD group estimated that Reach sold 3.3 million units in North America, making it the third game for its console generation, 360, PS3, and Wii, to sell more than 3 million units during the first month of its release, alongside Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 2.
I love how one of the other three is fucking Halo.
Yeah.
That's pretty
We've been here before.
Yeah.
Halo Reach became the third best-selling game of 2010 in North America, behind Call of Duty Black Ops and Madden NFL 11.
Wow,
It sold 4.7 million units by September of 2011.
This was a year, huh?
Madden.
I mean, even Black
Yeah.
Ops and Madden.
Yeah.
But no, like that's just interesting. But
The original Black Ops.
I think Reach. I don't think I realized how well Reach did until like I looked at these numbers. Like Reach really. A lot of people like Reach.
A lot of people don't like Reach too.
Really.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I hear from the
the majority.
positive.
Yeah, same. Absolutely.
So, real quick before we jump into the Reese information, guys, what are our memories with Halo Reach? I remember the day Halo Reach came out. You want to know why?
Sure.
So I was riding home from school. I had a car at that point. I was driving home. I was living down near Trio at the time.
Yep.
And who is that kid in your grade who got hit by a car by another student?
Jesus.
It was that day.
Wow.
Who was it?
Was his name Seif?
Yeah, it was Seif. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he was okay, thankfully. But yeah, it's definitely a memory.
It was that day.
Jesus.
And I have the collector's edition. It's sitting right up there behind Sora. It's the box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have the Reach collector's edition. And yeah, I remember like playing that multiplayer, not as intensely as 3, but I feel like intensely for those first few months. And then yeah.
Truthfully, I don't remember much. I'm like, I like gotta be honest. Like, there's not a ton of like memories that stick out for me, of like playing it or like. I mean, I remember playing the campaign. I remember getting it. I remember being excited, but like nothing really kind of pokes out in my mind of like, man, this is why I enjoyed Reach or something. You know what I mean? Does that? I don't know.
I'll give you a reason why I enjoyed Reach. The DMR.
That's true.
I love the DMR.
It's so weird to think that that's that old. Too.
Yeah.
The 20, like, again, in 2010, like, these were the things that came in. But that's true. That is definitely, the weapons are some of the things that I remember the most. The needle rifle, the DMR.
Oh, the needle
There's some,
rifle.
like, there's so much, there's a few different cool ones in there. And even, like, weapons that I didn't realize were started here, or I didn't even think about.
Like the plasma repeater.
Exactly.
Or
Or even
rifle.
the plasma cannon that shoots, like, I feel like they've almost made that
The lock-on one?
The red one. The, like, one that shoots almost like red. It's like the elites have. It's like almost like a grenade launcher. It's like a
concussion
plasma
rifle.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's
it.
kind of like I mean they have I've been playing Halo 5 a lot too. Like they have an almost newer version of that in
Yeah, the
Halo
concussion
5.
rifle starts in Reach and is in every
it's
Halo
like
after.
it's now
Really?
it's different. It looks a little different. It's blue in the newer one, and you kind of hold it down. It launches multiple at once, but like,
Yeah,
but
but it
it's
starts
still
in Reach.
similar idea. It's you can tell it's like that's where it came from.
Right. I mean, the DMR obviously comes over. The concussion rifle comes over, and like we'll talk about it later. But like, it's funny how the needle rifle never returns. It's the only game it's in. Don't really know why. I mean, we don't have a carbine either,
No,
which this looks like it's replacing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I didn't even think about
Right.
that. Yeah.
It's strange, and it's kind of like why, like lore reason. Like why are there
Why
like
did they, again, that's the thing when you get to prequels and stuff like that and you start introducing these guns and you're like, where did they go? This is a great
Right.
gun.
Oh, they used
especially
this one battle. That was it.
especially like the needle rifle. Like that's a great gun. I don't see any reason that you would
Right.
ever be like, we're not going to make this
I
anymore.
think the best part about this, whose call was it? We're gonna have the plasma repeater and the plasma rifle.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah,
the same
they're
thing.
literally
And then
the same.
also the DMR, like where'd that go after Reach? Were they all lost on?
Yeah,
like,
right,
right.
1 to 3.
Like
Yeah.
like these
Well,
seem like really good guns.
There actually is a thing in the
Lore-ish, like
that
the
like
lore-
sort of explains why like it wasn't widely used, and I'm like, okay.
I'll say it. I like Reach's multiplayer more than 3.
I don't really remember
I like
it.
Sprint.
That's why I guess I'm
remember.
like,
I remember playing a lot of like what was the firefight doing like daily challenges. This was
Yeah.
one of the first games I remember that had
like,
like a
Invasion?
daily and a weekly challenge system. Invasion.
Yeah, Invasion was cool.
Yeah, I have a lot of memories of Reach, but I feel
was
like
like
they're not as clear as Halo 3's. I feel like Halo 3, I just think probably there's just more time in Halo 3 that like those memories just kind of solidified better. I feel like Reach was probably like a year or two,
Yeah.
and I was out.
Yeah.
Like it didn't last as long
I
as
agree.
3.
Yeah.
So our release information, obviously on the 360, it came out September 14th, 2010. Windows, Xbox One, and Windows and Xbox One on. Wait, no, that's not right. So whenever the oh wait, no, maybe this is right.
Yeah, it didn't come out.
So Windows and Xbox One on Master Chief Collection, December 3rd, 2019. It didn't release with the Master Chief Collection. So this, besides ODST and Reach were the additions to the Master Chief Collection. They didn't originally launch on there. So let's jump into it. Welcome to Reach, boys. Noble Actual is the first campaign level of Halo Reach, consisting of entirely cinematics, involving, this is the only time I'll say it, Spartan B312's introduction to Noble Team, and briefing for the game's first mission by Colonel Urban Holland.
Several views of a glassed Reach are shown. First the entire planet, then closer shots from low orbit, and finally near the ground facing a towering mountain. As its tip is divided by the two...
Tip.
Oh. What did I say? It's tip.
No, I'm just being It was a
I
joke.
see. I missed. Its tip has been divided by the two.
Divided in
in
two
two
by
by
the
the
glassing.
glassing. My
Yeah.
apologies. A crashed UNSC frigate can be seen on the hill to the right. The camera moves down to reveal a severely damaged helmet lying on the smoking ground. The screen fades to white. Reach.
I read while doing research for it, they almost just called this game Reach.
Really?
Yeah, and I felt like this
Marketing
opening,
wise, they were probably just like,
No.
They were the guys up top were like, you can't do that.
Right.
Put Halo
You
in front
have
of
to
that.
put Halo-
Halo
but
has
I
to be on
think this
title.
title screen is a reference
absolute-
to,
to,
that.
like, what they
it
were,
is
yeah.
kind of powerful.
No, it's just
I don't
Reach.
know. I was like, wow, Reach. Yeah, I don't know. I
Again,
just
it's
felt
cool,
it.
but yeah, I do think just marketing wise, they were like, you can't do, or they would have been like, put Reach a Halo game or something in the you know
Reach
what I mean?
a Halo story.
Yeah,
or-
like you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would have. It still would have sold.
I
very
think it
well,
would have
but,
been
like,
totally
that-
fine. But yeah, it's just funny.
Reach, July 24th, 2552. Cut to first-person view of Noble 6 staring into the visor of the same helmet before putting it on. Zooms out of the Warthogs Noble 6 is riding in on the surface of Reach towards a UNSC outpost. Two UH-144 Falcons flying in above the Warthog. Text shown in the lower right corner of the screen. Planet Reach, July 24th, 2552. 0728 hours. Both Falcons land in the camp and the Warthog pulls to a stop. Noble 6 gets out of the Warthog and moves toward a building.
All right, there's a lot of characters, so we'll probably have to like triple up.
Okay.
All right, so I'll be Holland.
All right, I'll be Colonel. No, I'll be. Wait. Oh, I see.
So
They're
there's-
the same person. I was okay. I'll be Carter.
Contact with the Visegrad relay was lost last night. All signals flatlined at 2600 hours. June, sitting outside the Falcon's passenger cabin, watches as Noble 6 passes by while placing rounds into his sniper rifle magazine. I responded with trooper fire teams, which have been declared MIA. Carter is shown from behind, watching the holographic computer screen displaying a Holland's portrait on the other side.
And now you're sending us.
The Office of Naval Intelligence believes deployment of a Spartan team is a gross miscalculation of valuable resources. I disagree. Noble 6 reaches the door and Emil sharpening his kukri, thank you, kukri against his shoulder pauldron and attempts to enter before being stopped by Kat.
Commander.
Carter and George turn to look at Noble 6.
So that's our new number 6.
Noble 6 steps forward. Kat, you read his file?
Only the parts that weren't covered in black ink.
Carter turns back to the screen.
Anyone claim responsibility, sir?
Oni thinks it might be a local insurrection. 5 months ago, they pulled a similar job on Harmony. Hit a relay to take out our eyes and ears. Then 2 Soul freighters from dry dock. That can't happen here. Reach is too damn important. I want that relay back online, number 1.
Sir, consider it done.
Then I'll see you on the other side. Holland out. George and Emil stand up. Carter grabs his helmet from the other table and turns to face Noble 6.
Lieutenant,
Commander, sir.
George and Emil start moving out. Kat joins them by the door.
I'm Carter, Noble Team's leader. That's Kat, Noble 2, Emil, and George, 4 and 5. You're riding with me, Noble 6.
Cuts to the Spartans exiting the building with Noble 6 next to Carter, with Kat, Emil, and George walking side by side in front of them towards the Falcon.
I'm not going to lie to you, Lieutenant. You're stepping into some big shoes the rest of the squad would rather leave unfilled.
The Spartans reach the Falcon with the other 3 moving off screen, and Noble 6 and Carter getting into one where June is already waiting.
Me, I'm just happy to have Noble back up to full strength. Just one thing. I've seen your file, even the parts Oni doesn't want me to see. I'm glad to have your skill set, but we're a team. That lone wolf stuff stays behind. Clear?
Carter signals for the other Falcon to get airborne.
Got it, sir.
Welcome to Reach.
Perfect.
The Falcons take off and start moving toward the mountain range in the distance. That is our level. So, let us meet Noble Team, who surprisingly don't have much to talk about.
That's very interesting.
Noble Team, first of all, was a special fire team size unit of the UNSC Special Warfare Command Group 3, composed mostly of Spartan 3 super soldiers and 1 Commando 2, as of 2552. Noble teams also operated with non-Spartan military personnel more extensively than other Spartan teams to grant them more operational freedom within interacting military personnel. The members of Noble Team have been given higher ranks than most of their Spartans by their CO.
Let's get some... I like mobiles of Noble Team, though.
Mobiles of Noble Team.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because Noble 6 is a lieutenant right off the bat. And we know John is what?
A petty officer.
Petty officer.
He's supposed to be like the
Master
highest
Chief
ranked.
Petty Officer is his rank.
He is the highest ranked military person, right? Isn't that the idea?
Yeah.
Then what's a lieutenant's pretty high too, right?
I mean, I don't know.
lieutenant. That's
Yeah,
I'm
not
curious. I really
sure
have
with,
no
like-
idea how that stuff works.
I mean, like,
I'm gonna
Carter's a commander. He's
Yeah.
high.
I'll give it a googs.
He's high.
Yeah.
Noble Team is led by Commander Carter, A259. He was a Spartan 3 commando of the UNSC Naval Special Warfare Command in Special Warfare Group 3. Carter was the leader of Noble Team, an elite team of Spartans who fought during the Fall of Reach. His call sign is Noble 1.
You're riding with me, Noble 6.
Carter was born in Durban, Baiko on August 27th, 2520, and was conscripted into the Spartan 3's program Alpha Company in 2531. And after an unknown amount of time, he became leader of Noble Team. He has led Noble Team through difficult situations to earn the loyalty of his teammates. He and Kat are the only survivors of the original team and share a close bond as a result. On April 22nd, 2552, Carter led Noble Team in an operation put together by Kat to destroy a CCS-class battlecruiser, maintaining position above a city. The operation was successful, but at the cost of Tom A293. Both Carter and Kat took responsibility for the death of Tom, unable to admit that the death of the Spartan was his own fault. Tom was replaced by Noble Team by Noble 6, our player character, a few months later, just prior to the Fall of Reach. Next up is Noble 2.
Noble 2, Lieutenant Commander Catherine B320, commonly known as Kat. She was a Spartan 2 commando of the UNSC Naval...
3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
3.
Spartan 3 commando of the UNSC Naval Special Warfare Command. She fought as part of Noble Team under the call sign Noble 2 during the Fall of Reach.
First glassing? Me too.
Born in Monaster?
Monster. That sounds about right.
Monaster, New Harmony in 2530. She was conscripted as part of the Beta Company early on. She would later be taken out of Beta Company after Operation Cartwheel, and shortly before Operation Torpedo would commence. Some time later, she would be assigned to the newly formed Noble Team. Kat, along with Carter, is one of the only 2 survivors of the original Noble Team. As a result, she shares a close bond with him. She is Noble Team's second in command and described as being fiercely loyal to Carter and the rest of the team. On April 22nd, 2552, Kat planned an operation to destroy the CCS battlecruiser, maintaining position above the city. The operation was successful, but at the cost of Tom and her right arm.
June, Noble 3, A266, is a Spartan 3 commando of the UNSC Naval Special Warfare Command, attached to Special Warfare Group 3. Call sign Noble 3.
Welcome to Reach.
June was one of the 2 founders of the Spartan 4 program. June was born in the year 2524 in Tiumen, New Harmony. He was conscripted as a part of Alpha Company. June served with Noble Team as Noble 3 during the Fall of Reach in 2552. June was Noble Team's marksman and recon specialist, pointing out targets for the rest of Noble to hit and providing overwatch from a Falcon. On Reach, June was last seen boarding a Pelican to escort Dr. Halsey away from Sword Base to Castle Base under orders from Carter. When Team Alpha made their way to Castle Base the next day to regroup with Team Delta, June was nowhere to be found. In January of 2553, June handpicked Sarah Palmer, who was an ODST at the time, to become one of the first candidates for the Spartan 4 program.
The only reason I put after Reach stuff in there is because he's the only one who, spoiler alert, makes it out. So I was just like,
smart.
It's like, and there's like no reason to bring him up any other time. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just put that in there. We have next up, who is Emil Noble 4, Emil A239, was a Spartan 3 commando, the UNSC. He fought as a part of Noble Team, call sign Noble 4, during the Fall of Reach.
Who's next? I'm ready! How about you?
He was born on Luxor on Arandis 2, Master Chief's homeworld, on March 11th, 2523.
Oh, wow.
And lastly, second to lastly, you have Chief Warrant Officer George 052. He was a Spartan 2 commando of the UNSC Naval Special Forces Command, attached to the Special Warfare Group 3. He fought during the Fall of Reach in 2552 and was part of Noble Team under the call sign Noble 5.
Better get going, 6. They're gonna need you down there.
George was born in
Palhaza.
on Reach on March 5th, 2511.
Oh, so he's the oldest,
Yes.
without a doubt.
Wow.
But,
yeah.
but he's also a Spartan 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's
Yeah.
and was abducted
only
and
Spartan,
conscripted
too.
into the Spartan 2 program by Dr. Catherine Halsey in 2517 when he was only 6 years old. While on Reach, he was trained by the Aldeja, Chief Petty Officer Mendez, along with the rest of the Spartan children. In 2525, he and other candidates underwent a series of augmentation to improve their overall combat prowess in several different fields. George was among the candidates to survive the procedure.
And finally, you, Noble 6. Spartan B312, better known as Noble 6, was a Spartan 3 commando of the UNSC Naval Special Warfare Command. Over the course of B312's career, the Spartan gained a high reputation as an efficient lone wolf assassin, having single-handedly broken organizations and made entire militia groups disappear. Noble 6 was also a test pilot in a top-secret UNSC project, the Sabre program, which resulted in the development of the YSS-1000 Sabre-class starfighter. Noble 6 used these skills to great effect in a counterinsurgency operation on Mamore on May 10th, 2552.
I didn't know Noble 6 had that background. I don't
No,
think
that's
I
interesting.
knew that he
Like
was
he was almost like in a set, like he's like a almost like a John Wick type in a way. Like he is,
right, or like
Yeah.
like Oni's like dirty guy. Like
Yeah.
he does lone wolf operations, and Carter even says to him like, "Yo, like you're on a team now. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
it,
do-
yeah.
no lone wolf shit." Which is interesting. It's interesting that they gave like even the rookie doesn't really have like much of a backstory. He has an after story.
Yeah.
But like the backstory is really like nothing crazy. But it's interesting that they decided to write like this like flavor text in him
Absolutely.
to kind of give him some context. And as Noble 6, we replaced Tom A293, known by his call sign of Noble 6, was a human male Spartan 3 who served in the UNSC during the Human Covenant War. Trained as a member of Alpha Company, he was assigned to UNSC Army Colonel Urban Holland as a part of Noble Team. In 2552, he and the rest of Noble Team were deployed to Fumarole. Yeah, we'll go with that. In order to defend the planet from a Covenant invasion, he participated in an operation devised by Cat to destroy that battle cruiser, and he died in the process. Cat was critically wounded while carrying the explosion, and was left unable to complete her mission. There's a bunch of trivia for everyone. Some of them like go together and some of them are separate. Carter's date of birth makes him one of the oldest Spartan 3s. The majority of trainees for the first class Alpha Company were 4, 5, and 6 years old, where the project began in 2531. Carter would have been 11 at the time, making him nearly as old when was conscripted as most of the Spartan 3s when they graduated from the program. Carter is the subject of the Spartan 3 augmentation procedures as seen in the Birth of Spartan trailer. You can see his name on his chest and the computer screens when he's becoming a Spartan 3. Kat and June speak in a Slavic accent and share the same homeworld. Kat will make comments if Noble 6 kills Marines, saying, "Now understand why there's black ink covering much of Noble 6's file." June is the last surviving member of Noble Team. Emil shares the same homeworld as Master Chief, as we said earlier. Emil is also one of the only Noble Team members, aside from 6, whose face is not seen throughout the game. However, he is the only member of Noble Team who does not remove his helmet at any time during the game. Also, Emil's face is depicted in concept art. The face shows, in keeping with his Hungarian heritage, George named his personal heavy machine gun Itikla. Itikla?
Itilka?
Atil? I don't know.
Like an L before.
Yeah. Etilka, Hungarian female name meaning noble.
Huh. Interesting.
And then Tom was originally intended to play a larger role in Reach, as was a member of Noble Team, but ultimately cut from the game and only mentioned in performance reports by his Spartan tag. So our first level, Winter Contingency, begins. Trio.
Winter Contingency is the second campaign level of Halo Reach and is the first level to feature gameplay. 2 Falcons, call signs Charlie 1 and Charlie 2, fly over a mountainous landscape.
Did you not realize I fucking were like, these are Hornets.
Yeah, I thought
yeah?
that's what they were. It's funny, I didn't even
They're
realize.
an
Like,
entirely different vehicle.
that is funny.
Yeah, I like didn't even think like not until doing this doc I was like, they're they're not Hornets.
Yeah, no, I thought
was like-
I just it's funny, I didn't even know. Like I just assumed that they were
Yeah.
Hornets. Getting in the Falcon. The the 144 Falcon was a troop transport, tilt and traverse rotor helicopter in primary use for the UNSC Army. The Falcon first entered the UNSC service in 2497 and was well received on the intercolony worlds as a good economical replacement for the Pelicans, From there, it has seen its fair use over the course of the Human Covenant War as one of the UNSC's Army's main transport vehicles.
Maybe that's why we don't see it, because we're mostly dealing with Marines, not the Army.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something to think about. You can keep going.
Carter A259 is shown from behind, looking over at the other Falcon.
I'll be Cat, since you
All right,
have
I'll-
to read
Okay.
with me.
Listen up, noble team. We're looking at a downed relay outpost 50 clicks outside Visegrad. We're going to introduce ourselves to whoever took it out, and then Kat's going to get it back online.
Just get me under the hood, Commander. She's going to be Russian.
I thought George was Russian.
Nice.
Slavic.
Hungarian.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm George, too. Sir, why would the rebels want to cut off Reach from the rest of the colonies?
Now you're Russian too, but I think it helps. Carter is shown from the front.
You get a chance, maybe you can ask them, George.
Camera shifts to behind the two Falcons. Commander, we lost our signal with HQ.
Cut back to the second Falcon from Carter's point of view.
Backup channels?
Searching. Nada. Can't say what's jamming us.
The two Falcons are once again shown from behind from a greater distance. They are now approaching the outpost.
You heard her. Dead zone confirmed. Command will not be keeping us company on this trip.
I'm lonely already.
So we get a tutorial really fast.
I didn't even. Yeah.
I didn't realize there was one.
In the Falcon, you get a up
Yeah.
down.
Oh, I didn't
That's
even-
it.
I must not have even done it.
It's
I must
probably
have
not
not even paid
Were
attention.
you on easy?
I know, I was on
Yeah.
normal.
I was on easy.
So I think you're timed to it. So like I didn't answer it, and it just goes.
Goes away.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, are we just gonna fly up here until I like hit A? I'm like, all right, I guess not.
There's the communications outpost.
Rating a distress beacon.
6's HUD places a waypoint that reads Distress Beacon. Investigate.
Could be the missing troopers. Let's check it out.
New objective. Locate Distress Beacon.
Put us down on the bluff.
The Falcons circle for a landing.
June, I want your eyes on the sky.
Sir.
The Falcons land side by side and Carter jumps down.
Let's go, 6.
The player exits the Falcon along with Carter, Emil, and Kat. June and George remain in their Falcons to provide air support.
So I think the first thing I noticed is like you whip out the AR and it's
Yeah.
like, all right, it's totally redesigned.
The top of it's like coming out.
Yeah, it's like a bit like more. Yeah,
It looks
I know.
almost more futuristic, but we're in a prequel.
Again,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things where I'm like, I get the idea of wanting. It's a new. That's the issues just with prequels in
Yeah.
general games. So when it's like you're introducing these things that just never were there in the later games, and it does. It's not that it breaks immersion, but it does make you go. It makes you like
Once
kind
you
of
think about it, you're like, how does this
why?
make any
Yeah,
sense?
exactly. It trips you up
And
a bit.
it's not even that like it's so far off that like, oh, it makes sense
There's
why
no-
they're using
yeah.
different weapons or whatever. And it's like, no, like Halo 1 takes place
These
like,
are the like
an hour
immediately after this.
Like an hour later.
like where'd all these guys go? And I quickly wanted. I decided the armor abilities. It's not worth like obviously
each
like
to-
there's
into
no
each one, yeah.
not when we
No, I
find
think
them.
so, too.
So armor ability is a new mechanic in this game. Love it or hate it, it's here to stay for a little while. You can customize. So armor ability is a customized attachment by the UNSC, the Covenant Empire, and the Ecuum, which are the
Acumen.
Acumen.
Ecumen.
Yeah.
Ecumen, okay. To enhance the performance worn by Spartan, Sangheili, Jirohani, Skirmishers, and Forerunners. These armor modules can be upgraded to a specific function of the armor, synchronize with separate hardware to create new functionality, or add new functionality by themselves. In Reach, we'll have active camo, armor lock, which is a ability that you kind of get down.
Just getting vulnerability for a few seconds, basically.
Right.
Basically like
Trio.
an immovable object.
Yeah, thanks, Trio.
Of course.
Because like I was not going to say that. I was like
that's
going to
all right.
explain it. Drop shield, which is like a bubble shield. Hologram, which sends out like a clone to distract.
Think,
Jetpack.
what's his name from Apex?
Mirage.
Giddy?
Mirage, yeah.
Oh,
Mirage.
I thought you said drop shield.
And then obviously sprint.
Again, I love that you need an armor ability as
To
a
sprint.
Spartan to sprint.
yeah.
You
That's
just can't
actually
sprint.
kind of goofy.
All right. Who's up? Is it-
Yeah, sure.
6 follows Noble Team down the hillside. Halfway down the hill, Emil climbs a rock and looks down on the outpost from its peak. Soon they come to a burning vehicle next to a small building. Emil begins inspecting a pallet on the ground.
Found the beacon.
Emil tosses Kat the beacon. Make out any ID?
Negative, but it's military.
Kat drops the beacon on the ground. So where are the troopers?
Why are we not seeing explosive residue?
Noble 3, can you confirm EX residue in the area?
Negative, sir.
Plasma, maybe?
Can't be. Not on Reach.
There's a lot of blood on the ground.
All right, Noble. Looks like there's nothing here. Let's move on.
And we move on, and first time we are seeing any alien wildlife in a Halo game. Believe it or not, we've been on
Scared
Halo.
the shit out of me, and I beat it down. It
Oh,
came
I
out of
shoot
nowhere.
them-
I was like, ah!
Every time they come around the corner, wasn't there like an achievement for shooting them all in the first level?
Like 12 of them.
Yeah, it was like 12.
Yeah. Moas are a species of large flightless avian birds native to the planet Reach, largely utilized as cuisine and by pets. Wait. And pets by humans. Okay.
And
And
as
they-
pets. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Moas could be found on other worlds as a result of wide exportation. During the fall of Reach, native Moa populations reached near extinction levels due to the Covenant's empire's glassing of the planet. Despite this, Reach remote areas are still home to flourishing groups of Moas.
They're basically like ostriches.
Yeah.
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 Noble team heads off to another cluster of buildings. New objective: investigate local structures. 6 goes up a short flight of stairs and emerges on the other side of the house. The second Falcon lands in the courtyard long enough to drop George off, then takes off. A door opens and a civilian male steps out. Other civilians can be seen remaining inside.
All right, so like
You
all
gonna read
these
Hungarian?
all
Hungarian?
those civilians speak Hungarian, so I'll speak it in like a my Russian accent. I didn't do anything.
Emil aims a shotgun at the man as he and George question him, but he appears to speak only in Hungarian.
Move on your knees now.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
They're not rebels. They're farmers. Look at them.
This is gonna get fun. You're up.
Oh shit! Ask him what they're doing here. George questions him in Hungarian. The civilian begins talking to George, and George translates. What are you doing here?
We just didn't want to die.
Hiding, sir. Neighbors were attacked last night. Heard screaming and gunfire. It stopped around sunrise.
Yeah, I got a lot from that. Something killed my son.
He says something in the field
Well, no.
killed his son. Oh, what?
No, he's right. He's right.
No,
I'm George, right?
yeah, you broke character.
Oh, did I not?
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't
No, no.
Russian enough. My
Yeah, no,
apologies.
no.
Continue. I will get it back. Get it back.
Well, now.
Oh no! It's me
now
talking
you're
to me.
back.
Something.
Commander, be advised. I'm reading heat signatures in the structure directly east of your position. Over.
Copy that. Get them back inside, George. I said get in. Get in.
A new waypoint appears on the building in question. The farmer gets back inside, and the civilians close the door to barricade themselves back within as Noble teams sprint east toward the building. The group finds several human corpses, including 2 uniformed ones pinned to the wall.
Damn.
Fill me in, Commander. What are you seeing? Over.
It's June. German actor.
June is like
yeah,
they all
No,
have
no,
accents.
I thought June was like, yeah.
No, yeah.
He's like Cat. Him and
Yeah.
Cat are the same.
Same
Interesting. All right,
homeworld.
all right.
Yeah. So like they're gonna be Russian
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this.
God damn it. Carter kneels down over the pools of blood and examines them. Avian-like footprints can be seen in the blood.
We've got military casualties. 2 of the missing troopers. Looks like they were interrogated. It's messy.
Carter stands back up and signals the team to keep moving. They enter an adjacent room with another dead body. Movement is suddenly heard on the roof, and a brief hostile contact is detected on the motion tracker.
The Covenant are on Reach. Let's meet the newest enemy we've had in a long time. The Skirmishers. The Tavoyans, also known as Skirmishers, are a subspecies of the Kigyar in the Covenant army. Skirmishers are the same species as the more commonly lightly built jackals, but they are faster, stronger, and can jump higher and are more agile than any normal Kigyar. In addition, they sport manes of feathers rather than quills. A skirmisher's voice is more raspy and guttural. This is because they have expanded voice chamber in their throat. I bet you didn't know that, Trio.
I had no idea.
Skirmishers serve as the shock troopers of the Covenant. Noble team fights their way through the surprise Covenant force while moving deeper into the region, searching for any signs of life. During fights, we'll encounter elites with a new type of plasma weapon, the Plasma Repeater.
The Type 51 direct energy rifle / improved. Right? That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
more
right.
commonly known as the Plasma Repeater is a plasma-based direct energy weapon used by what? Oh.
Used by what used to be.
Used to be.
Used.
That's tough.
Jesus, that stuff. Yeah.
Used by what used to be the Covenant Empire, specifically the Sangheli and Jirohani, during the fall of Reach in August of 2552.
Specifically during this battle trio, you gotta understand. They only
I
used
know,
this
that's why we
gun
don't see it
one
anymore. I
time,
get
and
it.
then
They
just-
left them all
They,
on
they,
range.
they were like,
yeah.
fuck, these suck.
Yeah.
Or they
Drop-
were like, we already have the plasma rifle.
No, but they're in 4?
I think
Or
that
is,
I thought.
is the storm rifle in
Well,
4?
so in
it's the storm
5, there's
rifle.
like they have like a plasma repeater of some kind.
I think it's a
That's the
storm
storm
rifle.
rifle.
That's the storm rifle. I mean, it's
think so.
basically the
It's
same
like has
idea.
a longer barrel, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, and it's,
that's
I
the
mean, and
storm
it
rifle.
actually fucks people up really
I
hardcore.
like it.
I like it. Yeah.
Really? Interesting.
This weapon saw action. This weapon also saw action in the post-war years in the hands of the Jul Madama's Covenant. Jesus.
That's Halo 4.
The weapon's rate of fire is slow. As it is fired, the weapon heats up. This can be solved by manually venting the rifle with the reload button, which can be done all at once or gradually. However, as a weapon overheats, the fire rate slows. The accuracy of the weapon will also increase. It is very likely that the plasma repeater is either new to the Covenant arsenal or is a branch-specific weapon, as it is only encountered by the UNSC in very recently and only in very limited numbers.
Wow. Big
Noble
lore. Big lore, guys.
Yeah.
Huge lore.
Noble 6, Carter, George head back to the flat truck with Carter taking a passenger seat and George in the back using his gun as support. Noble 6 drives. The Falcon carrying June lands long enough for Kat and Emil to climb on board and depart for Visegrad relay.
One thing I never noticed is Noble 6, like, they're constantly rotating who's on the ground.
Yeah.
Like,
That is interesting,
George
yeah.
isn't on the ground with the beginning. When you interrogate the people, he
comes
gets off
in,
the
yeah.
Falcon. Like, I'm like, that's kind of interesting. Like, and again, like, there's a lot of dialogue I didn't add here. They're constantly chattering back and forth. So, yeah.
Eliminating the Covenant in the Valley.
Then we pick up the needle rifle. The Type 31 needle rifle, also known as the needle rifle, is a Covenant infantry weapon. It is known to be used by Sangheili, Jiralhani, and Kigyar, including skirmishers. The needle rifle fires unconventional, long and sharp projectiles similar to those of the Needler. I would have never guessed. The projectiles detonate several seconds after impacting on soft tissue. Like the Needler, if enough needles are fired into a target, a super combine explosion occurs.
Imagine just getting shot with one of these
Oh.
in real life.
Like in the
As a
the ODST
human
or
being.
the landfall, right?
You get shot in the chest.
No, it's with a spiker.
And
Oh,
then it
it's a
just,
Spiker.
I mean,
Even-
Spiker still sucks.
Yeah.
But these explode.
Let me tell you.
Like in real, like get one in the heart. You're like, maybe he's gonna make it, and then they're just dead.
just
like, I can't imagine how painful that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, even just the Needler rifle in general, I guess that would be terrible.
Although most players use it as a semi-automatic weapon for long range, the needle rifle is a fully automatic, medium to long range, headshot capable rifle. Unlike the Needler, however, the needles do not home in or track the enemy.
So you can hold us down and just repeat shoot? I didn't
Apparently.
know that.
I didn't know that either.
I would always just.
Yeah, that's how I always did it.
So,
Interesting.
now I got something to try when you get down.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
You want to do the DMR?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then we pick up the best weapon in the game, the DMR. The M392 designated marksman rifle, more commonly known as the DMR, is a select fire rifle used by the UNSC. The M392 DMR's intended battlefield application is as a medium to long range weapon like the battle rifle. It is primarily issued to experienced operators with proficient skill in shot placement and controlled firing, as the recoil and newly introduced reticle bloom from multiple shots can throw off the user's aim. The best strategy is to pause after each shot, then fire again as soon as the reticle contracts enough to cover roughly half the target. Simply fire as quickly as possible when using it at extremely close range. Although it saw more widespread use throughout all branches of the UNSC before 2548, the battle rifle had superseded it in most military branches of the UNSC, with the sole exception of the Army.
One thing I guess you guys probably noticed, the Spirit dropships are back, which
Yeah.
is like the one thing that they didn't retcon that they added in, but they added the Phantoms in too.
Yeah.
Like both dropships are in this, and it's like, okay, that lines up.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing.
That's
that
cool,
does.
I guess, yeah.
June, Noble Leader, I'm picking up a distress signal.
Mayday, 3 Charlie 6. Does anyone read? We were attacked by Covenant forces. The Covenant is on reach. I repeat, the Covenant is on reach.
The troopers. Let's move, 6. We gotta find that source of the distress call.
No disrespect, but don't we have more important things to do than round up strays?
We don't leave people behind. You see those troopers? You let me know. Noble 3, we've located trooper squad. Request immediate evac. My coordinates.
Solid copy, Commander. We're calling fucking Charlie 2. Hold that evac position.
You said we're calling fucking Charlie.
Fucking Charlie 2.
We're calling fucking Charlie 2 back here.
We're calling fucking Charlie 2.
Hold for the evac position.
And the squad mechanic
Interesting, but
is in this game, and I don't really know that it does actually anything besides show the random
Who's with
generated names who are the people who are
I
with
feel like
you.
when it first came out, it was Bungie employees. the names were Bungie employees. Almost
There
certain.
are some.
And there was like Rooster Teeth employees too. You could have like Jeff, Ramsey, and stuff like that.
So Fireteam is a gameplay mechanic found in Reach. With it, you can recruit up to 5 UNSC Army, Militia, or Marines, or ODSTs through the campaign. These troopers will follow you and play throughout the level, and their status and name and rank is shown in the player's HUD next to the motion sensor. Each friendly combatant has randomly assigned name and rank, which are not tied to their in-game models. It's so dumb.
yeah.
It's
There's
like,
no point. Yeah.
There's really no point. I really think about it, and I'm like, why? What's
Why?
the point of this? It sounds like it was like they meant it to be something greater. Cut it.
And then they're just
they
like, we
left
can't do it.
Like,
Yeah,
maybe
like
you
maybe
could've
you actually like form
pointed-
bonds with these people, and then yeah, you can point
I
them
was
out.
thinking
Like,
more so like sending
yeah,
them
no,
out to,
that
like,
makes more
different
sense.
spots.
Yeah, like you're actually controlling what they're doing.
And this game has bad audio mixing.
I'm not
Alright.
surprised.
Again,
Bungie.
I'm like trying to listen to the fucking dialogue, and they're talking a lot. I'm like, I can't fucking hear.
Subtitles
Yeah.
suck.
Transport LZ is clear, sir. Move in for evac.
Affirmative.
Transport.
Transport inbound.
2 Falcons land. Travis and his team load into one to be evacuated, and Noble team depart for the relay on the other Falcon.
Noble 2, sit rep.
We're at the relay outpost. Doors locked. Mechanisms been flash fused. I'll say that in my normal.
Can you beat it?
I dialed up my torch. Got the way through. Going to take some time.
Okay, we're en route to your location.
Noble team reaches the relay, finding Covenant in the courtyard. While Kat continues to work on the door, we fend off incoming troops. Noble team withdraws to the relay entrance as the door closes, shutting the Covenant out.
We need to find the control room. From there, Cat can get the relay back online. Emil, post here. If we flush out any hostiles, they're yours. All right, let's do this.
Noble team enters the dark room.
Can't see a thing. Noble 6, turn on your night vision.
So our night vision is kind of back from ODST.
It didn't give me it didn't tell me how to do it in that moment for some reason. It
it's
didn't
like,
tell. It's up on the D-pad. It told
yeah.
me in the Nightfall mission, but it
Yeah.
never gave
Yeah.
me like the thing in that mission for some reason.
Yeah.
It was the same button from. I think it was the same button from.
I think
ODST,
you're
right?
absolutely right. Well, it was just funny because I was
No,
like he's-
visor was X for me. I
Oh,
thought.
I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, so it's
Well,
always
it was
4.
just interesting because like I was like,
Noob.
is it just automatic night vision? I was like, can I say? And I will even like the night vision. We'll get to it. I didn't find it to be that helpful, to be honest, in the later levels, but we'll get to it.
Noble 6 turns a corridor to see a body.
Noble 6, search that. Noble 6, search that body. I can't do S words.
6 begins to search the body. Carter finds an injured trooper.
Where's the rest of your unit?
We got split up. I don't think it sounded bad over the comms.
All right, Corporal. Stay put. Stay put. We'll get you back.
Right.
All right, Corporal.
All right,
calm
Corporal.
down.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. This is just the way he said that was kind of funny. All right, Corporal. Stay put. We'll get you to the combat surgeon.
Noble 6 finds a data module on the body as Kat looks at the controls.
Damn plasma damage.
Found something.
Cat snatches the data module from Six's hand. I'll take that, 6. Not your domain.
I've got a live one over here. Come on. Out now. What is it?
Out
Out
now.
you come.
George picks up a young female, but she continues hitting him while yelling in Hungarian.
It's all right. We're not going to hurt you. George. I've got her.
George puts down his weapon and grabs her by the arms.
Keep still and I'll release you.
They are still here.
See, that's the
Yeah,
only
with the
sound I
contingency.
remember. Yeah. Wicka, wicka, bow, bow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
from,
was what-
it's from the song Winter Contingency, if it, the level name wasn't obvious enough. George stiffens as a field marshal jumps down. George stiffens just as the field marshal jumps down, and George barely avoids the elite's energy sword while covering Sarah. The marshal growls a challenge to the rest of Noble Team and charges while the 2 zealots jump down.
What's your status? Over.
We're being engaged.
The marshal nearly cuts down Cap, but Carter pushes her out of the way. Noble 6 says it maintained constant fire during this, and the elite shields finally collapse. He knocks Noble 6 down and runs out the door.
Bad guys coming out.
Another zealot grabs Noble 6, but the neck by the neck and extends an energy dagger. But 6 punches him, stunning him momentarily. The elite, unfazed, roars at 6 and prepares to stab him. Carter kicks him off, and Cat opens fire, draining the zealot's shield. Carter then kicks an assault rifle to 6, who dives for it. The 2 zealots head for another door, holding the shouting corporal as a human shield. Noble Team hold their fire. The civilian girl begins screaming while the zealots head through the door. The corporal screams are heard as he is killed.
That tango blew past me. Permission to pursue?
-4. Stay on the entrance. 2. Handle her. 5 and 6. Clear the hole. Noble 6 reloads. George and Noble 6 head into the room, which George then seals behind them. George throws a flare to the other side of the room in an attempt to draw out the hiding Covenant. One of the zealots emerges from behind a crate, firing his concussion rifle at George and 6, while the grunts and jackals fire their weapons at George. George and 6 clear the room, but the zealots retreat down a nearby corridor, and they follow suit.
Before we continue here, I feel like you could definitely tell that these games were being made. ODST and Reach were being made around the same times. They kept up with like the same first-person cutscenes too. There's a lot of those.
When is it? When is first mission?
There's a few that jumps into a few. Oh, in ODST.
And like ODST and Reach, weren't they being made around the same time? Two teams.
Yeah.
No,
but
yeah.
Like where?
This is a
in ODST
first-person cutscene.
No, I
Like,
understand. But when in ODST is there a first-person cutscene? I'm trying to
Like
think.
anytime you're Buck or Nikki.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Who wants to read the concussion rifle? Trio or Chris?
I got it.
Okay.
The Type 50 directed energy rifle heavy, otherwise known as the concussion rifle, is a Covenant infantry weapon. This rifle fires explosive bolts of superheated plasma. When the bolt hits a surface, it produces area of effect damage and a small kick to its users and objects. Some trivia: the concussion rifle is the only plasma-based weapon in a Halo game to have a removable, replaceable power cell. Although the UNSC grenade launcher and brute shot are superior in firepower, the concussion rifle is much faster in terms of use, including the reload time.
Noble 6 eliminates 2 zealots and grunts.
Noble 5 reporting. Contacts neutralized. Cat needs you to reset the junction. Do it and get back here.
Noble 6 resets the junction.
How long?
Question of my life. If the question is, will the station be back online? 2 weeks, earliest. This is plasma damage. All major uplink components are fried.
2 minutes too long.
Which is why I'm splicing into the main overland bundle to get you a direct line to Colonel Holland. You're in my light, Commander. Carter turns to George.
Find out what she knows.
George taps a civilian girl's shoulder, but she shoves his hand off. Emil chuckles.
What is your name? Do you live here?
George takes his helmet off.
My name is George.
Sarah.
Your accent sounds familiar. Sorpon?
Tengeri.
Friend of yours?
Father.
I'm sorry.
Why would you be?
Big man forgets what he is too. Big man forgets what he is sometimes.
She just lost her father. She needs a full psychiatric workup.
She's not the only one.
Lock it down, both of you. Get her on her feet. The body stays here. Thank you, sir.
George walks by Emil and glares at him and then helps get Sarah on her feet. Signal! It's patchy, but it's there.
I'll take it.
Best not touch anything. I wouldn't want to ground this place. Noble team, minus Carter, leave the room. I'm barely getting you. What's your situation? This is Holland talking to Carter.
Colonel, this is Noble 1. There are no rebels. The Covenant is on Reach. Acknowledged.
Come again, Noble 1? Did you say Covenant?
Affirmative. It's the winter contingency.
May God help us all. Pretty dramatic.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a good one. That's
really
a good, yeah.
dramatic, and that's
May
the end
God
of our
help
level.
us all.
So the Winter Contingency is an official United Nations Space Command emergency plan that deals with situations where Covenant forces have become aware of or are invading a United Earth government's colony. So that is what Winter Contingency means, and that is the end of our level.
Thank you all so much for listening to us. This has been a lot of fun going through Reach and our Halo Re3s. You can find these podcasts on anywhere podcasts are found. You just search Delco Nerd Network. We are on all the social medias as well. Just search Delco Nerds. We got a Facebook page. We got a nice Discord channel. We talk about a lot of fun things there, including Halo Infinite. You can find our website, delconerdnetwork.com. We post a lot of stuff on there, as well as our email is over there, delconerds@gmail.com. You can email us any comments, questions, or concerns. We'd be happy to get back to you. But till next time, for Gooch, for Chris, I've been Trio. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.